Whoa. Wow. Hello.
What's
All
up?
right. So, sir, brother, welcome to another episode of the Fandom Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
It's it was a good weekend, man. I mean, it is a good weekend, I should say, because it's not over yet.
Yeah.
Unless you listen to this next week, then it is over. Then there's that whole time. It's a whole paradox thing, man. I love that. It's really just awesome. Okay, so let's get the introductions because we've got a jam-packed, fun show, and let's start them off with the man sitting across from me. This guy over here.
This guy.
He is the cinema CEO. He is the cinema god. He is also one half of the tag team champs of the world, along with Lady Mina, who also has a podcast called Mina and Mawa Politicking for the Culture. Come on, Irene. Oh, I swear that I don't care. This is Michael Williams.
What's up, y'all?
Brother.
Pay no attention to my co-host, the hungry bleak.
I don't want no smoke, but I'm gonna keep saying it.
Don't be surprised if he's gone before the end of the season. Blipped.
Filling in for the role of Antonio is Mina. And myself, I am the hungriest man in the room. You can take that however you want. I am the Hungry Bleak. I am also the host of the Hungry Bleak podcast, which comes out every Monday at 6 a.m. Again, I don't expect you to be on at 6 a.m. to enjoy it, but you can if you want. I am the Hungry Bleak hashtag, the Dark Star hashtag Nevermore. I'm Antonio Pomares.
Yes, he is.
Sir, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing all right. America's doing much well because shootings have started again. So, we're doing all right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, I had to throw that one in. You guys know I love just taking a pot shot at the old pastime. No, not baseball. No, America's pastime is no longer baseball, folks. So, we have a special guest. This guy is, Route 3, Mind to Avenge, Green Lantern. And now he is also stepping into the world of video game writing. I mean, the guy can do just about anything. Okay. And he's going to be here with us discussing the latest episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as well as a series premiere of Invincible. So heavy spoilers alert. Spoiler alert. If you do not want to hear about these, put your earbuds in or earphones, earplugs, whatever, and just watch us because we're all pretty. Just look at us. Don't read our lips, but just look at us, okay? But this is a very spoiler-heavy episode. We're going to be talking in depth about this. Well, we're also going to be talking about a new project that he has out, which is Kickstarter live right now. It's called the Fox Chronicles.
He's also a friend of the show, isn't he?
He's a friend of our hearts. As well as the show, yeah, that's what
that he is.
You've seen him with us time and time again, and he's that guy. You know what I mean? It's always awesome to have him on. Everybody, this is Robert Jeffrey.
Oh God, the national pastime joke. I was laughing over here, like it killed me. Like I'm laughing because I to stop from crying.
Much like Chappelle said, this racism is killing me inside.
Exactly. Nah. Oh my God. These people said COVID is over. Let's get the popping. I'm sorry. Like it. Sorry. It just.
No, it's real. It's real.
I like the dark humor, so I was laughing my butt off over here. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Man.
Like, first off, thank you for being with us.
Yeah,
again, man. It's always great having you on, man. Whether you have something coming out or whether you don't, whatever, it's always great having you on, man.
Yes,
seriously.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And every time you're here, there's something, like I said, the tax bracket jumps up when Robert's on the show, and I appreciate that. Because every time you're leveling up continuously, dig it, love to see it, man, honestly.
Thank you. It's like, what is it, Sierra? She said, level up. Love. I'm not going to try to dance.
Uh,
I'm not doing that. I
we
put one
need
hand
those.
up.
We need
That's
those
it.
viewers, man. We need those viewers.
No,
Man.
you don't want to lose viewers. You want to maintain.
This guy.
You want to maintain the numbers that you have. They look up and like this grown man, this with a paunch and kind of balding, is over here doing the level up dance, and then talking about comics.
Yeah, but is that Robert Jeffrey? Is he
Uh,
doing the Dougie?
yeah,
Honey, come here. You got to
I
see
was
this.
no, I wasn't even gonna try it. In the was in the green room. You asked me to do it, but no, I'm happy to be here. I love y'all show. Going back to the, I don't know if I can even say the name of it on the show, but to
Yeah,
previous.
sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Sure,
Strange in the Membrane. That's why I go back to that, but also friends with Antonio and met up with Mike and everybody else on the show, and y'all have been extremely supportive of everything. I mean, just real talk. So I appreciate that.
No problem.
We always appreciate it. So let's dive in, man, because this was a deep one. Let's go with the first one that almost. I'm gonna be real with you. When I saw where they went with this episode, I was happy, I was mad, and I was sad all at the same time. Because I'm really enjoying this series. Let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Sure.
All right. If you know your Cap history, and let's say if you know the Super Soldier Serum history, this episode hits you hard. If you don't know it, I almost envy you because you can actually go back. Oh, well, what's that? And you can go back and read about it, and you can discover that story all over again. In this episode, we had a lot was thrown at us. We got a little backstory from John Walker. Excuse me. That shows where my head is at. Wow. We saw that we got to see Battlestar. I didn't see that coming at all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw Robert's face.
No, we can get into that. I mean, when you in due time.
Yeah. We also got the Bradleys. I there's a lot there. Okay, let's start with Robert. What was your thoughts on this episode? And I know that this hit a lot of us. Like, ooh, they went there in a few ways, especially in that particular scene.
Yeah. So when they started off the theme song with the high school HBCU marching band, I was in the house like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? And I do like, and it was funny because my wife she was in the high school marching band, so she was just like, let me go get my clarinet, just like whatever. But I like the opening. I do love how they're building up the world post blip. So they're fleshing out how this world has been affected, after everybody's come back and disappeared and just all this world changing destruction. So I enjoyed the opening, especially the things that worked for me was the introduction of Isaiah Bradley, which was huge. When that happened, I clapped my hands so hard that my right hand was like numb for a minute. My wife offered me like a bag of ice because it hurt so hard. Because I love truth. I love that miniseries, and the fact that Marvel went there, and I think that was Kyle Baker, right? Kyle Baker who did that series.
Yes, I want to say yes.
Right, yeah. So for them to now introduce a version of that into the MCU, I was really hyped, and then also you see his grandson, and we know what his, significance is to the Marvel Comics universe.
Yes.
And then, the moment of the cops, coming over and just being the cops, and just when it came to, Falcon and Bucky. But this overall, I've been impressed with the past two episodes because every episode seems like a kind of a smaller bit of a Marvel movie, which I'm happy with. And one of my favorite movies from the MCU was Captain America and the Winter Soldier because it was like an espionage thriller with super heroic action. Like I love that, and that's what this is. It's like Tom Clancy meets a superhero beat 'em up. and that's the vibe that I'm getting, also with a bit of social commentary. So those are the pluses. The minuses is Marvel, I need you to stop introducing, and this is something that Jason Reeves has gone on length about on his page, and so I want to give credit where it's due, but it was something that irritated the heck out of me when I saw it, that they introduced yet another black supporting character, sidekick, or partner, whatever you want to call it. I wasn't familiar with Battlestar, so I know maybe he holds a significance for some people. For me,
Mm-hmm.
when they showed him in that outfit jumping out of the helicopter supporting another white Captain America, I was just like, Marvel, y'all need to Marvel Studios stop doing this. Like, you have a show which is about it's introducing Sam as a lead character, and we have yet another example of the black guy supporting the white guy. I'm sorry, that's just how I
Yeah.
it just kind of it jumped out at me immediately when he walked into the locker room and said, "Well, John Walker, what's on your mind? I'm going to help you out with it, as we always do." And I was just like, "Come on." Like, I'm tired of that. Um, so that's kind of because and the MCU has a history of doing that a lot. I mean, we only have three. We have Luke Cage, Black Panther, and now this series by lead black characters. And like 70 to 80% of all of the other stories either feature us as supporting black characters, um, or not leads. So I know that they are taking steps with Ironheart, with Kamala Khan, with a lot of other people who aren't straight white men leading these series. But I don't know, for some reason, like when he walked into the room to offer it sagely advice or support to John Walker, I was like, y'all can miss me with that. So that's just me. But I enjoyed the episode overall, but it just that was a downside for me.
Yeah. No, I totally can understand that. When he and I feel the actor is Clay Bennett,
Mm-hmm.
who plays and I've seen him in stuff before continuously. Like he's like one of these like these like sci-fi channel actors. Like he was on a
Okay.
show, oh my god, Lost Girl.
Mm-hmm.
He was on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
He's been on a few things. Yeah, his
yeah.
voice is always much deeper. That's what when he
Mm-hmm.
spoke, I was like, why is his voice so high? I'm not
That's
used to his
him.
voice,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and his voice is still deep as hell. Um, so when I saw him, I was like, please don't, please don't, please don't. And then I'm slightly familiar with Battlestar. I just know that Battlestar changed his name because he realized what the hell Bucky meant, or
Mm-hmm.
like Cap told him, which I think is funny that Cap told him about that. But anyway, um, yeah. So I was like, please. Then when he did it, yeah. Cinema CEO, sir, your thoughts. Falcon and Winter Soldier, episode two.
More of the same of how I felt in the first episode. Like,
Mhm.
this show is just really well done. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like the buddy the buddy superhero cop show that we didn't know we all needed. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So again, I like that. I mean, I really think I like that Sam and Bucky, they kind of have this adversarial but respectful relationship with each other, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense. Like, they don't necessarily have to be best buds in order to accomplish things. And I think that sometimes buddy cop shows try too hard to make you fall in love with the relationship between the two people. Like, they have to be buddy, buddy, buddy all the time. And that's not this at all. Like, this is more of an extension of everything that was given to us in, uh, you know, Winter Soldier / Civil War.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
these guys genuinely are irritated by one another. But that doesn't mean that they can't work together and try to get something done. And you know, one of the comments here in the chat is from Amina saying that, she feels like I spend half the episode explaining what's going on to her and things like that, which is not really a problem for me because I would rather watch it with someone who isn't saddled with all the knowledge or the things that I know about it that they're trying to accomplish, because then it makes me look at it in a different way, right? Like it makes me change my perspective on what I expect to happen in this episode or what I expect the objective of the entire series to be. Yeah, I mean, there was that scene where they all see one another, where John Walker and Battlestar and Bucky and Sam see each other, and me and Amina look at each other, and we're like, it's almost like the flip of each other, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Where like Sam kind of is the lead now, obviously by extension from Cap, and Bucky again is the sidekick to Sam, like he was to Cap, and then it's just like a mirror flip with Battlestar and John Walker. You know what I mean? So, I had a feeling that Falcon and Winter Soldier was going to be a really good show. I just didn't think it would be to this level with the social commentary and all the action. I mean, the action is like this is like prime MCU action that we're getting on a streaming service. Like this is insane. You know what I mean?
They were scrapping. Like they were punching the heck out of those flag smashers?
Yeah, flag smashers.
And that scene, now that was very unexpected when US Agent I'm sorry, they'll just call him John Walker for now. John Walker and Battlestar.
Yeah, probably later on.
Yeah, and he was just throwing that shield like Cap, and I was like, no, I don't like that. But they, when they showed the footage of him on the Good Morning America interview where he was tossing the shield around to the different paths, and I was like, well, damn, I guess he does have the serum, and I just I definitely enjoyed the action in it too. There was I'm enjoying the antagonist. I can't remember the name of the lady who was leading the Flag Smashers cell, and this whole thing of them like going underground, and it's people are supporting them and trying to like we want to get back to how it was during those 5 years. And I'm just like, y'all need a TV series about what it was like during those 5 years, because everybody keeps referring to this time as either because you had less people, I guess the muckety mucks at the top of the political structure or economic structure doing things as normal. So I'm like, what would those 5 years have been like? But then you also hear about Hawkeye, on his Punisher-esque crusade, going around and killing all of the the minority crime cartels. Like, why couldn't he gone to like middle America and bust up some some of those homegrown? So that's the thing. I'm very interested in seeing what that period was like, because everybody keeps referring to it. But shout out to Georgia and Atlanta. Like that scene that was in Munich was apparently in East Atlanta, in an East Atlanta warehouse. And I'm pretty sure that was filmed at some high school down here, that whole scene, when, the opening. So, this is a series I kind of wish that they had led with. I'm just being real. But, I enjoyed WandaVision, but this kind of stands closer to what I enjoy about the MCU. Going back to the Winter Soldier movie. So.
All right. We have Mina who was saying, Irene, who was saying social commentary. I appreciate social commentary, but I'm at the point where I need it to be more than just 2 minutes. And I think we will get more of that, more of the social commentary in there, because I think they're kind of leading up to it, but still trying to mix in the MCU and the action and the intrigue, but also giving it, because the fact that they're even touching base on these topics in here is surprising. Honestly. Tony K was asking, what do you guys think about them changing the war that Bradley participated in? I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's more modern, You know, just like they would do in the comics, they would retcon it, because this is going to be the second retcon that we've gotten in 2 series. We might even get more of a retcon because this is only episode 2. You know,
I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, just as long as you show him, as long as his story stays the same as far as what was in truth, as far as the core of that, I'm fine. That was going back to Mike, to what you were talking about as far as explaining some of the moments or these parts, from the book. When we paused it, when they revealed who Isaiah Bradley was, because I explained to my wife what truth was about. So she knows about the Tuskegee air experiment. She knows about the history of Black people being subjected to just medical racism, when it, so that's something that we all collectively know about when it comes to our history. So that being applied to this universe was, and I hope they get more in depth into it, because like when he threw that, like my wife said, when he threw that Altoid box into the wall, it was done. It was just like, y'all better get the heck out, because that there's some anger there, and it's not just because Bucky was with Hydra. You got to imagine what it was like for a Black man to be fighting. I'm assuming during the Korean War, with those abilities, as I guess in this case it's going to be the second Captain America or the second super soldier. Like, we don't know, because the suggestion has been that since Cap, the government has been trying their best to replicate that same formula over the years. Like, one of my favorite parts about Civil War was when they talked about that strike team that they had the Hydra was building, and they were like, if they had placed that team in like a small country, they would have taken it over within 1 or 2 days. And in my mind, I was like, where's that movie? That's what I would love to see. So I don't know, maybe he was the second, third, or whatever, but he when he said your people, Bucky was like, oh, he was talking about Hydra. No, he wasn't. I'm of the belief that he wasn't just talking about Hydra.
He's talking about the U.S. government.
Yes.
Yeah.
He honestly was, because we know the history there, and it's not pretty. Tony Cade,
well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother, but it spurred a discussion. That scene spurred a discussion too between me and Nina yesterday. Like, she was like, oh, well, there was more than one person that took the super soldier serum. I'm like, the likelihood, I mean, and I am vaguely familiar with Isaiah Bradley. Like, I know the name and stuff like that. I haven't actually read the actual, text about that whole story. But, I mean, I basically turned and looked at her and I was like, I can't believe that Cap would be the only one for the U.S. government. Like, once you have Cap and it's successful, you're like, okay, now let's get more people involved. You know what I mean? And let's create, because ultimately at the end of the day, for war profiteering countries, you're looking for the perfect army.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And why wouldn't you try to find, someone else or another group of people who would fit into that mold and be your perfect soldiers? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that, because if you think about it, I mean, look at even at Winter Soldier. I'm gonna stop calling him Bucky because it's just annoying the piss out of me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just annoying because he's standing there and they're calling that, and I'm like, y'all can call him Barnes, y'all can call him. I know he's been called that for years, but I'm like, you can call him Winter Soldier if you want. I mean, he probably won't like it now, but still, I was like, I'm just gonna call him, but I'm not calling him Bucky. But it makes sense because what they did with him was they were trying to create a weapon. So why not have an arms race, but with super soldiers? Everybody's trying to do their thing. And let's be honest, if they were going to have that serum and it was somewhat quote unquote perfected, they weren't going to start with Steve. They were going to start with, what they would have thought of as being expendable people. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Come on. Tony Cade was saying they're like siblings. I'm going to refute that and say no. If you saw what was going on there, honestly, it was very, and a lot of people have said this, and I would be like, look, go for it, make him buy. Honestly, that whole relationship between Sam, Barnes, Cap, and Iron Man is very, very, very reminiscent of a romantic relationship. Friends, but romantic relationship, some type of intimacy there. Let's just call a spade, seriously, folks. Come on, let's just be honest. But yeah, siblings. All right, cool. Um, Tony also said he won't be the first Cap, and he won't be the first Cap in the MCU. Again, the experiments that they were doing before. Tony also was saying that why was he locked up for 30 years? I'm guessing, like in the comic, he was locked up because he had stolen government property by stealing a shield and a suit, because they had those prototype suits, shields that Stark had already made. If you watch Captain America, the first Avenger, he was like, oh, well, these were shields, so let's give him these shields that we're also seeing experimental, see if they work.
And
so that's what I'm thinking.
And I'll make it even more simple than that. He's locked up for 30 years because he's a black man with immense power.
That is, thank you. And I'll add an addendum to that. The U.S. government probably saw his entire body as being a property because they put the serum in his body. So it's just like that. You know, as far as I know, I think the showrunner of the show his name is Malcolm. I cannot remember the last name, but they're introducing things into the writers' room that I think the last time I saw something like this in the MCU was a TV show wise. I mean, Black Panther definitely be, but Luke Cage. You know, there were moments in Luke Cage where I was just like, I would love to be a fly on the wall, you know, to see, how you're weaving in the social commentary with, this tale of superheroics and all of that. So, yeah, it's in, and then I think you have other examples like Black Lightning, Supergirl, to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And even the second season of The Boys, like The Boys went to places where, I was surprised because I've never read the comic, and what I am hearing is that people are saying that the comic and the book are different, and I think one of those elements is the social commentary. I love Garth Ennis, but that was a Giancarlo Esposito comment where he says, like, I'm not allowed to be an angry black, like that's not something I can do, be an angry black man or something. So
that's a white man's privilege.
That's a white man's privilege. So there are definitely shows that have hit this mark, and I just like giving credit where it's due before Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But you have this whole thing of like he's about to accept the mantle of being America's quote unquote savior. And if the build up is to like symbol or savior, but I mean the way they're treating John Walker, you're thinking that this guy is like can fly and shoot lasers from his eyes because everybody is just like, we've been through it. We have been through it after the blip. So like I said, outside of just we got to get away from the black people just being support characters, and I think that's what the show is striving for. But like when you introduce another element like that into the story, and like I said, the brother got a paycheck, that's good, but I can't sit here and lie and say that didn't make me feel some kind of way, because we've had Rhodey, we've had every and Sam, up until this show. So but overall I'm 8 out of 10 for the first 2 episodes. I'm enjoying it. And Zemo, Zemo is the most underrated villain in the MCU. I loved him in the Civil War, and I remember people were dogging on him. I mean, and I was like, no, that guy broke this team up.
Yeah,
like hard.
He's the perfect villain to have before Thanos comes, finally. Because he's the guy that basically pulls the string and unravels the entire team.
Yeah.
And only with like a few words. It wasn't even a sentence. He just, it was random words out of a book. And he just sat there like just chilling, like, and reading them off. And and he was like, no, I'm just going to keep reading. And then he just walked off. He just walked off smooth. And that was it. He was that. And he's such a, when people think more of superhero villains, they're thinking of someone like Thanos. They're thinking of this huge, big, powerful person who can knock down buildings. So sometimes the worst villain is the one that just whispers in your ear or says something. I mean, look at Purple Man.
Yeah.
That was one of the most, and I mean, David Tennant did it perfectly, where he just could just whisper in your ear, just a little suggestion, just a little push. And he was so vile and so disgusting. He didn't knock down walls. He didn't fight. He didn't do that stuff. Those can be the most destructive people. Look at the world we live in. Are you more afraid of the guy who can punch or the one who's telling him where to punch?
Yeah.
Those, I mean, not that I'm saying that if Thanos was standing there, I'm like, yeah, so what? Like, I'm not going to square up with him. Like this is not Friday the 13th. I'm not squaring up on, no, this ain't, I'm not trying to catch a fade. No, but I'm saying, yeah, that, I mean, because it's like, like Loki was there. Loki was actually could be that in between, could be both sides. But Loki was taking orders from someone. And Thanos was still a person who could say, yeah, do this, but he could also, but he was that blend, but he could also still knock down a building, knock down a world,
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. So yeah, he's so cool doing it. And he was just so chill, and he had a plan. He had a set plan, and he did not deviate from it. Didn't work out for him too well.
Right.
But seeing him when he says, I know a guy, we go to and we find out about the Bradleys. Then we get that other drop at the end of Zemo, setting up wonderfully, loving the banter between them, loving their co-worker relationship. I think it's great. I'm happy with it. What Robert said is true, but I think this series is showing the flip side of it. Of now I'm the lead. Now I'm looking at you, and you're the subordinate to this guy who's a jerk, and you're probably way more qualified than he is. So, and I hated his Battlestar. I hated that suit. Oh, it's Battlestar in big letters. Like, couldn't you not? Like, seriously, I'm big on like character design and fashions and stuff like that. Everybody's suit was looking cool. Well, Bucky's, I'm kind of either or. Just because, and I'm glad he didn't call himself Bucky at first. He said Battlestar, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, it's cool. When Barnes ripped off his shoulder, I was, excuse me, not shoulders, but his sleeve. I was like, all right, I'm glad he still has the Wakandan arm though.
Yeah,
glad about that arm. And stop inviting him to the cookout. I heard comments. Stop that.
I saw that thread.
It's gone.
I saw the thread and I moved on. I was like, nope. I'm not.
I didn't even see the thread. I heard about it, and I was like, "Yeah, no,
that was ugly."
We're not doing this. There's no cookout. There is nothing. COVID. Stay inside. 6 feet. 6 feet. All right, so let's come up with the next one. This series also is just, if you're a fan of the comic, you know the comic. It's just amazing. This is from Image, their Skybound imprint. This is Invincible. This is from Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker,
and Ryan Otley.
As a huge Invincible fan, this is a character that will be debuting on the series later. If you know, you know. I always got to bring the good stuff out, man. I always got to bring that good stuff out, man. if you know, you know. This premiered on Amazon on Thursday, a day early. I was asleep, unfortunately, because I had to be at work. I thought we were only supposed to be getting 2 episodes. We had 3 episodes, and they were about 45 minutes each. I want to say this is basically the story of Mark Grayson, who is a young man who is waiting for his powers to manifest because his father is a Viltrumite and his mother is an Earthling, and they don't know if he's going to be getting the powers. And his father is one of the greatest heroes on planet Earth, called Omni-Man. And then his power, I love how his powers kick in. That's one of my favorite scenes in the comic, and they did it so well in this animated series. Shout out to to Robert Kirkman, who keeps people employed by just saying, "Hey, I know you're not on The Walking Dead anymore. Got another project for you. Come on, walk with me, talk with me." Steve Ewan, Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons can do no wrong to me. This cat is Teflon. Michael, now you haven't read the comic, correct?
I have not.
So I love the fact that you're gonna have fresh eyes, because Robert and I have read it. What are your thoughts on Invincible?
After this first episode, it's amazing. It's literally amazing. I liked everything about it. I liked the voice cast he's assembled for it. I will say this: when the Invincible title card comes up towards the end of the episode, I was not expecting what came after it at all. Like the that's when the show goes, hard left, hard right, hard up, hard down, all at the same time, and I love it. Like,
Mhm.
I absolutely love it. Like, everything that transpires after that title card, it literally is the whole point of watching the episode to me, and that's the hook that will keep you in this series. That ending part.
They captured the comic perfectly and the humor, the
Yeah.
way they time it out perfectly. But that's the beauty of having the creators on the title working so closely
Mm-hmm.
with it. That's the beauty of it. Robert, your thoughts as someone who has written, but you recently read the comic like this year, correct,
Mm.
or last year, Robert?
Yeah,
I want to say.
yeah. Like my history with it was a few years ago. I started collecting um, the smaller hardcovers, and they are still
Hmm.
big themselves. But I collected them up to a certain point, and I
Mm.
stopped. So
Mm.
and that was a few years. So last year or the year before, during the Image Virtual Summit, where they were revealing news about new and upcoming projects,
Hmm.
they did I think it was like a 50 to 70% off sale on books.
Ooh.
So I ordered I wanted to get up and get the books, but I know this is live, so I'm not going to do that. But I ordered three, these three like omnibus books. Yeah, like I'm not
Mm.
going to get up and be bootleg with this. I'm being professional, but they're like this, and there are
Yeah.
three of them, and they collect the entire series. So I think I sold the old books that I had and bought these new ones. And
Hmm.
I just now finished the series last year. So I finished it last
Hmm.
year, and I am not. Invincible is one of the greatest superhero stories ever, and to me, it it kept my interest throughout. Maybe
Hmm.
like the first couple of issues were more kind of trying to build the world, flesh it out, and you do definitely see a transition with the art, because the art,
Yeah.
Ryan Ottley in later issues is a beast, and whoever they bring in for the colors is a beast,
Yes.
especially when you see the violence. But in addition to that, just like the panel placement, storytelling, the comic is, and it seemed like kind of an original story for somebody who had gotten a little oversaturated with the superhero market when I first read it. So I've always wanted to see this adapted in some form, live action, but also, or actually, my preference was always TV series, but I never thought it was going to be animated. So
Mm.
um, I enjoyed the heck out of these first three episodes. I know we're only going to talk about the first one, but the other part of it is because we're spoilers. After that title card, I was when they don't show that level of violence in before, even
Mm-hmm.
during that fight with the
Mm-hmm.
Mauler twins at the White House. There's probably some blood, but it's more like, hey, okay, we can deal with this. But when you see how that goes down, it's it's crazy, and I know some people are going to say it's gratuitous. And it's just, and people I probably have said this about the comic series, but for me, the violence was always in service of the story that was being told, and that's kind of how I feel about this one because the twist being is that it's Omni Man. It's that's the thing. So, um, and he goes ham, like he
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
goes in the worst way. But as far as like an introduction to the universe, the characters, the voice acting, I was excited about the voice acting crew, and it's a perfect male between voice actors and animation who have a
Mm-hmm.
background in animation, actually who also have
Hmm.
a background in live action, like Kevin Michael Richardson, Kari Randolph.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also see the names like Sonequa Martin Green, Zazie Beats,
Hmm.
J.K. Simmons, Sandra Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mark Hamill, and then like you keep hearing and then Walter Goggins, and you keep hearing all of these names,
Yep.
and it's just like Kirkman. This is what Amazon needs to do. Like all that money that you raise from selling products to Middle America, toss it into all of these productions, and start being a threat to the other streaming services. And this is one of those series that I think could possibly, be one of those like threats, to the other services.
It,
And And then lastly, and then also this makes me hyped about the Lord of the Rings series, because if they're able to put like this much attention and effort into a comic series that most of America doesn't know about, I'm very excited to see what comes down the line. The only thing I need Amazon Video need to do is fix their interface, because that is garbage. I can't find shows in there to save my life sometimes. But as far as the first episode, for me, it's like a 10 out of 10. Like this is the perfect way to bring people in, and this is not for kids. This is not for kids. This is not for kids. So if you have kids and you show this to them, that's questionable to me. Sorry, but this is a 18 plus series, and it's sort of like The Boys. So think of it like, in some ways, the level of violence, the animated version of The Boys. But that's the only comparison I'm going to make between those two series. But I loved it. Like
and yeah, and to Robert's point about this show kind of being the kind of show that, you know, is a statement show for Amazon, and hopefully kind of pushes all the other services to, you know, be on top of their game. I you took the words right out of my mouth, Robert, with that, because, you know, I feel like this is the kind of show that, you know, sends shots over the bow at Netflix and sends shots over the bow at HBO Max, and to a certain extent, a shot over the bow at Disney Plus too. Even though Disney Plus kind of has their IPs all set up, and they're just humming along with what they have. I sincerely hope that, and I'd love it if they did, if Disney Plus would just revive an X-Men animated series.
Man.
on their service. I mean, seriously, like we need it.
Yeah.
You know. So, what about you, Antonio? What did you think?
As a fan of the comic book series, and when it ended, I remember it ended like 2-3 years ago, something like that. And I remember saying it on Strange and Remember, and I was like, damn, you know, this is like sad to me. And I just knew it. When I heard about this coming, I was like, okay, cool. And then being able to watch it was just incredible. This is a series that I already, looking at it now, I'm looking at little things that, because I can see the foreshadowing, because I know what's going to happen at the end. And I'm like, oh, geez. Oh my God. But the humor is what really got me. The humor, like when you see the two guards outside of the White House talking, and they are able to have this human moment, you know, it's a real drama where you're really feeling it, and it sends you into this lull, because you're thinking, oh wow, this is going to be great. And like if you're new, you're like, yo, this is great, but then you're like, oh, this is kind of, then all of a sudden out of nowhere, boom. And how they can connect things, like it's just, the action is amazing, and it is bloody and somewhat gory, but it catches the tone of the comic perfectly. So if you're saying it's gratuitous and you didn't read the comic, read the comic. It actually will stay with you more with the comic, because it's just that still image. But it's a perfect contrast to the bright, beautiful world that this is in superheroes, and then you see someone's head getting crushed, literally. But the way that they deal with fights is incredible. And the way that they dealt with the Flaxons, I'm trying to remember the name of that race, the Flaxons in the first episode, when they kept coming back over and over again, and how it was like, it kind of reminded me of Mr. McMixelplix. Hope I'm saying his name properly. If I'm not, he'll probably appear. Like that, which is great. And the drama between everyone, how you're getting his school life, the home life, the superhero life. You're seeing these three individual worlds, and how when they do connect, it's going to be crazy. I'm excited to see the little changes that they're going to make to it, and how far they go. And you can tell by the damn t-shirt, folks. I'm a fan of this. This is tied number one as far as my favorite superhero comic. This is tied with Catalyst Prime's Noble. These two are my favorite, bro. Dude. Exactly my point. He can't even say words. He can only make it. Man,
rest in peace to that series. Like and that's another universe that needs to be mined.
That would be another one. I mean, this series it's funny, it's poignant. If they go with certain storylines, they actually almost make fun of the tropes of superhero
Hmm.
comics in the big two, Marvel and DC. You'll see things where you'll go, wait, what? There was a time when there was this kind of cliche actually still happens in one company in particular, where there's this cliche where when you're out of ideas you do this, um and they did it, and I was like, wait, what? But the way they do it is so smart and so funny that it makes sense, and they make it work with the story, but
Mm.
still holding a mirror to the larger companies and saying, look, this is what you do. I did it as a joke, and I made it much better, and I did it within the confines of the story, and still progressed my story.
Mm.
Hmm.
Actually, there are two tropes that they do, which both companies have done, that they actually use in the storyline, make it better. Awesome. I love. Look, like I said, this is one of my favorites. I mean, I honestly don't know what to say. Tony, I almost said Tony Khan because I'm thinking of AEW wrestling. I apologize. Tony K is saying the Amazon membership is just free money for Amazon. Anyone else selling on Amazon still has to pay for shipping to customers. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea. That totally caught me off guard. I thought that thing was going to go somewhere else. I'll be honest with you. I did.
Yeah, I mean, he was just
Totally
talking
did.
about.
I totally
I mean,
did.
I'm just saying the
Yeah,
money has to come from somewhere,
yeah, yeah,
and
definitely.
when Amazon entered, yeah, I call it the digital streaming, whatever you want to call it, arms race. That was one. I mean, that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I always feel that The Expanse is now on Amazon Prime versus Sci-Fi. People
Yeah.
sometimes. I mean, there is a legit criticism of having to pay for all of these different services, but my level of concern for genre TV, actually just genre TV on basic cable, don't even get me started on broadcast television, and cable stations like Sci-Fi. I get concerned, because like when they talked about canceling The Expanse, I'm like, you're canceling the wire of the space operas. And then Bezos was like, I'm a fan of it. Let's bring it over. So um, I think they have the capital to, and especially like Lord of the Rings. Like there that's money involved there. So their money's coming from somewhere. If it ain't coming from buying the retail side of it, then it's coming from wherever else. I know that they host servers. Their
Yeah.
servers, and there are many aspects to Amazon. Based on and they have you can be critical of them, and then um, and they're legit criticisms, but I want them to, like they're doing the Fast Color show.
Hmm.
I are the what are the chances of that coming on cable TV or network television?
It
That's
wouldn't.
yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. Like Netflix drops like 500 TV shows every day. It seems like.
For
Um, Disney Plus has their library of titles, including Fox, and then HBO Max has their original stuff. So Amazon just, I think that they're going to dip into their pockets to continue to bring out shows like this, for hopefully quality programming. I watched and then purchased movies that have already been made. Like what was it? The One Night in Miami. You
yes,
had
yeah,
One Night in Miami. There was a movie which was kind of like a period rom com, like a romantic drama between Tessa Thompson and the actor, and I can't remember what the name of that was, but there are I want them to continue to step up, so we
mm,
continue to get shows like this. I want Amazon, Netflix, HBO Max to look at sources that aren't established franchises and build those franchises from the indie books that we know about, that we all
hmm
know and love. And for me, Invincible and The Boys is kind of a reflection of that. I know those aren't like ground level indie books, but because it's Image and what is the publisher for The Boys? Um,
Boys is dynamite.
Dynamite. So, but those aren't Marvel and DC. Those aren't recognizable names.
Right.
So I'm looking at Invincible from a couple of fronts. As a comic book reader, but also as a fan.
Hmm.
Um, because believe me, TV wouldn't have touched this. They would not have touched the series for a variety of reasons. So yeah, I mean the CW right now is the only broadcast network TV doing genre TV on a regular basis. Yeah, I'm not saying it's good. I mean some of the stuff on there is good. Some of the stuff is all right, but compared to NBC, CBS, and Fox, which just primarily do medical dramas and law shows,
Yeah,
cop
procedurals
dramas.
and such. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's genre TV is like it's kind of an endangered species sometimes. I feel when it comes to network television. So I'm here for the streaming networks, Amazon, picking up shows like Invincible. So
Yeah, I
as
think
long as they
network.
got the money.
Yeah, I think network television makes this the same mistake over and over again as far as genre TV goes. Is that it's almost like they've fallen into this trap of saying, well, genre TV has to deliver huge numbers in order for us to invest time in it. And
Yep.
that's not necessarily the case. Like, and Antonio and I have had this discussion years ago when, Star Trek Discovery started. We were like, I for one, was saying that show needed to be on network, even if you weren't going to premiere it on network initially when it started on CBS All Access. Put it on during the summertime. You know what I mean? So that people know that it's on when there's nothing on, and people can watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't get around to showing Discovery the first season in full on network until I think last year they finally put
Last
it on.
year. Yeah.
On network
year.
what was it, during the summer, right?
During the summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Tony Cade is saying that The Boys was originally on Vertigo before going to Dynamite. I did not know that, but it actually makes sense because the story of it and the feel of it, actually, it does kind of feel like a damn Vertigo.
Like a Vertigo.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of books and dipping in the pockets and indie, let's talk about this Kickstarter. Oh, the segues are chef's kiss. Robert
I love the transition,
dude. Robert Jeffrey, you have a Kickstarter out right now for the Fox Chronicles. Tell us about that, please, sir.
The Fox Chronicles is just something you should give all your money to. No, I'm kidding. It's a the Fox Chronicles is a coming of age tale set within, let's say, the distant future, and our focus is on a teenager. Her name is Autumn Fox, and the cool thing about our kind of sci-fi superheroic story is that she knows who she is. She knows what her role is. So it's not really the traditional origin story that you might see where she's just like, what's happening? And then we're like, this is happening. But what it is that she wants to use these abilities or this power to fight against some of the issues which are still plaguing our world, even in the near future, and primarily we're focusing on human trafficking. So when she is like, I've learned about this, I want to do something about it. I've dubbed this AI consciousness, which is like embedded in her head. We call him John. He's like Obi-Wan, except he's an a-hole. So in his mind, she is being prepared for a larger, for bigger things, and human trafficking apparently to him is not on the menu. So that's kind of where we're at with this quote unquote origin story. It's a we say that if you're a fan of stories like Far Sector, Ironheart, and Voltron, Legendary Defender on the space opera side of things, that this is something worth checking out, featuring a I guess a young adult character of color, which, to be real, there aren't in the mainstreams. There are not a lot of series which are headlined, by characters like this. And this is all the brainchild of Tony Cade, who has been making the comments and during our chat. And he's a comic book store owner down here in Georgia. Shout out to Challenges Games and Comics, located in North DeKalb Mall, and it's open right now. So
don't go right now. Go after the show.
Yeah, go after the show.
Go after the show.
Go after the show.
But after you put in for the Kickstarter, Finish the
Yeah,
show, go do the Kickstarter, then go to
Mm.
start.
and just do all that. Yeah, in that order. But Tony knows the comic book industry game. Like he's been running his shop since 94, 1994. And and actually for a while he was the only black comic book store owner in Georgia, in the southeast, on the east coast, and all of that, all of that. But also,
Mm-hmm.
just what the comic book industry is like. It can be rough. It can be rough. So for him to successfully keep this store running is a big thing. But knowing comics and knowing what's on the shelves, he was seeing a what do you say a dearth of comics which focused on characters like Autumn. Autumn is she's biracial. She's a young adult of color. She's kicking butt, saving names, or she wants to, take names or save lives and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is an idea that he brought to me and the co-writer Leo Ware, and we've just been fleshing it out. And the cool thing about Autumn Fox is that she's kind of a reboot of a previous character, which we actually will still tell stories about in the future. But it's something that when he explained what his goal was with telling the story, I had no choice but to say yes. And the other thing I always tell people is that Tony is the guy that got me involved in writing comic books. So the first story that I wrote, Daddy's Little Girl, is because Tony brought me into the Terminus Media fold. So to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't be in the industry if it wasn't for him reaching out. My background is I got out of college and I started freelancing for the Atlanta Voice newspaper, and I'd wanted to move into writing comic books, but so I reached out to a couple of publishers down here, and Tony and Terminus Media were at Dragon Con. Shout out to Dragon Con, and after showing him a portfolio of my articles, he asked if I wanted to learn writing comics, but then also possibly pitch ideas. And out of that, you get Route 3. Out of that, a lot of other stuff like Radio Free America, like co-writing that. So,
Mm.
yeah, but Tony's the reason I'm in the industry. So if he reaches out about a idea or something that he wants to write, I'm going to sit down and listen and be like, okay, let's do this. So, but that's kind of the Fox Chronicles and my kind of affiliation or how I'm tied to the series.
The biggest thing that hit me about this, because again, because of starting to know creatives and looking at certain things with books and the hands that are touching the books, the thing that stuck out to me a lot was your creative team.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly inclusive. I
Mm-hmm.
loved seeing the variety of faces and skin shades. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, that hit me like a ton of bricks,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. I mean, I was already on board because you were a part of it. Then I saw
Thank
that
you.
and I was like, you know what? Let me squeeze out a few more dollars so I can go another tier higher on this. Um,
So,
that I truly appreciate that, because more and more every day, um, I'm looking at that, and if I don't see something that I like, I kind of side eye a comic or a movie or like whatever project it is.
mm-hmm.
So kudos to your whole team on that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
no, no,
yeah. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
oh no, 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 you're fine.
Um, yeah, I was just gonna add. I'm extremely proud of our squad.
Mm,
Of everybody, of everybody's work on this. And like I said, you see, I always tell people with every project that I do, first of all, support the Kickstarter. You can either pledge or share, but then also if you're a publisher or if you're somebody who has money who wants work done, reach out to these people.
yes.
We don't work for free. Just being real,
Mm-hmm.
like this is not, but then also you're leaving talent on the table. Um, just looking at everybody on the squad. If you need some work done, reach out to us. that's I'm always going to lead with that. There's a reason why we put the bios up there so you can see the work that has been done by each of us. And in addition to that, Tony has an awesome eye for finding talent. He's the guy that brought Sean Hill to Terminus Media. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
yeah, no,
All
that's
right.
all Tony. So Tony met up with Sean at a convention. I can't remember where it was, but I had already pitched Route Three to Terminus after doing maybe like one story, and Tony was just like, "Hey, check out Sean's work," and I was just like, "This," and now you see where the series is at.
Mm,
So um, that's what I mean when he has a really good eye for talent. But yeah, thank you for focusing, especially on the inclusivity of our crew, like because we need folks to realize that there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot
mm.
of talent that necessarily doesn't that gets overlooked, and that's very unfortunate, I feel sometimes. But yeah, we this is a ride or die crew. So
That's awesome. Can you tell us about some of the rewards in the tiers? Because there are a lot of great tiers, and they have some
yeah.
phenomenal rewards. Which is I always love looking through the first. I look through the campaign again. As I've mentioned numerous times, I have the app on my phone because it's just way easier. Um, and I love looking through the campaign first to see all the details and to see the
Yeah.
crew that's on it and to see like what the actual like tiers look like. It just helps me out more, especially if there's a T-shirt involved. And then I'll go through the actual uh, kicking in portion. I'll see what tier I want. Can you tell us about some of the tiers and some of the rewards that are involved in there?
Yeah, yeah. So, at the most basic level, seven, and it seems like these are our most popular ones. The $7 and 15, you get a digital copy and then like a physical copy also with the $15 tier, and then from there we add more variants, to the mix. And if you look at some of the actually covers that we have on the page, you'll see that these things are beautiful. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like we have a cover by the series artist Fritz. I think it's Casas Fuyo Casas or Fulo Casas. Leveda O'Neill for the animation style cover. Marcus Williams of Tuskegee Airs fame for cover three, and Sheldon Williams for the cover four. So in each of these different um, tiers, ranging from I think it's like um, 25 to 50, you get different variant covers. There's another tier which I'm actually pretty happy about called the Welcome to Atlanta. And if you notice the titles of each of the different who's that laughing because I have to go.
That's totally me because I know that you were gonna say something about that title because if
Yeah.
something is
Oh,
Atlanta, you
yeah.
Robert gonna let you know
I'm a represent. Yeah, I'm a represent
for
because
real.
I think we have so much talent down here in Georgia when it comes to animation, art,
Mhm.
and comics. Like it's just there's a lot of folks. But this tier highlights that we have. It's a package where you can get different um, books, a collection of digital comics
Mhm.
from creators that are based here in the city. So that's at the $50 or more. And then we go more up to, the decal prints, and I think we have a couple of commission areas. And then there's one, the last year is I think $200 where you get a one-on-one session where it's a 1 hour online opportunity to kind of ask questions about writing in comic books, working in the industry, and just talk about comics. And then you get a host of other rewards with that level. Um, so it's a variety of stuff. Like if you have money to spend on the high end, that's good. If you just want to pledge $7 to $15, that's also okay. Um, but yeah. So we wanted to give a variety of different tiers so people wouldn't feel like they were we say hamstrung into just keeping
Yeah.
staying at one level. So um, Yeah, that Tony keeps pushing that early morning reward,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not the best teacher. Like, and here I go, like shooting down the reward. I think it would be a good session. But that was definitely like Tony's idea. That wasn't me. Like, man, let me
Yeah.
teach people about writing, and I don't. That's not me. Like, I don't. Like, I get in, I do my work, I talk about it, and then I leave.
Right.
But Tony wanted to put a tier there where people could have that option. Some people sometimes you have questions, um, and ultimately it helps the campaign out, which is
Mm.
the only thing that matters at this point. So yeah, so we I think we have. Let me look at the numbers. 18 days left, and approximately maybe another 1,000 and some dollars and change left to raise. But we came out of the gate like strong,
Hmm.
um, which was huge. But I think a large part of that has been great word of mouth from friends, going on to awesome podcasts like this. We had a good start with doing a live podcast with Chat and Draw with Mike Watson. So
Yes.
we set that goal, and I think since that point, like when I woke up the next morning, I think we had gotten maybe two or three. I think we'd raised 25% within the first couple of days,
Ooh.
and yeah, and I
Nice.
was just like, this is big. So people want awesome stories, and from what I've seen of the artwork, and of course the script that I and Leo put together, you're going to get that. You know me. This is where I will sell myself. I try to write something that's going to be entertaining and that you can kind of take something from. The other part of this is that when I was working with Terminus Media and Tony Cade, we did work for the Centers for Disease Control. We actually did an animated motion comic
Hmm.
raising awareness about HIV and STD prevention and awareness. And it was myself, Tony Cade, John McGuire, co-writer and co-creator of The Crossing, Peter Mitchell, and Tanya Woods, and Tony and myself. We would do these writer room sessions where we were trying to do like an edutainment type of thing, and that's what we're feeling that we're bringing with the Fox Chronicles. Um, and that's it's something we actually won awards for when it came to the animated comic book that I just mentioned. So you'll get that type of storytelling, along with some great sci-fi action when it comes to the first issue of this. Man, I went into salesman mode hard, beast mode,
Look.
anyways.
Look. Sometimes it
Man,
be like that, man.
yeah,
Sometimes it gotta be like that, for real. But you're not lying about anything.
yeah.
I mean, everything is hard truth. I will have links for the Kickstarter in here, definitely. I put in, I believe, the first or second day because I was like, wait, this is up because I already knew about because you'd already been talking about it earlier.
Hmm.
But before the Kickstarter, prior to the Kickstarter. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, bet I'm on it, and I went in and I had to go in because I mean, I always have. There's like, I have so many things to read, but Robert putting something out, I'm like, okay, I got this. This is a no brainer for me, honestly. You
What is
know,
it? Is this a heart? I don't know. This
bro,
is a O. Okay, sorry. No,
bro,
this
this
is
is
the
all right. This
rock.
is
This is
this
the
is
rock.
all
Yeah,
right,
that's the
all
rock,
right,
bro.
all right.
This is
So
the rock.
we put on the rock.
Okay, let's
All right,
just
all
say
right,
the
all
rock.
right, all right.
Let's just say the rock is an upside down heart at this point. And I like
You
this is
mean this,
heart.
brother?
Yeah, like
This is what you're trying to do, brother. This is what you. All right, man. We throwing up
I'm
gang
writing
symbols
for a
and whatnot.
living.
We throwing up gang
I don't do
symbols and shit. We
anything
doing all
else.
this.
You're asking me to do the Dougie. I'm like, what's
Look,
this Dougie?
Oh my
look,
god.
look.
What is this
This is what
Dougie?
we got to do to get these numbers up, man. We got to get these numbers up. We need the Jeffrey's Dougie. We need that. We
The
need that.
Jeffrey's Dougie.
Well, I mean,
Trademark it.
look, whatever you got to do, get that TM behind it, brother. But folks, we have talked about uh, Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have talked about Invincible, but the big takeaway from this episode is the Fox Chronicles Kickstarter is live. You have time to do that after the show. Go on Kickstarter.com, look up the Fox Chronicles. You will see that they have these amazing, great tiers. Look at the creative team that they have involved. Like I said, when I saw the team, I was like, okay, bet. I mean, I was already going to get it, but this seals the deal. find a couple more dollars. Let me not get a sandwich tomorrow. Let me squeeze a little bit more out the pocket and get this.
Yeah.
You're looking for quality work. You're looking for inclusion as far as creative teams. You're looking for something that is awesome. The Fox Chronicles is going to scratch that itch. You have amazing tiers. When I saw the Marcus the visual, I was like, oh man, this dude just be making my head hurt. I was like, his art is always diabolical. I love it.
Yeah.
And I saw the team and I was like, bet I'm excited to read this. So please, like I said, we will have the link will drop in here when the audio drops tomorrow. I will have the link in the description for that as well. I will have the link for Robert. I will have the link for what's the name of Tony's shop again?
Challenges, games, and comics.
I will have the link in here for that as well, because I want you to go and support and enjoy. And this is what it is. It's a circle of support. Circle of support. Mm-hmm. You know, I wash Robert's hand, he puts a sandwich in mine. That's how this works, folks. It always leads to food. It always leads to food with me.
It's like I need to throw in a sliders reference with as many times as you've tossed it in the sandwich.
Look, bro, we could do a whole episode about sliders and sandwiches.
Oh my God.
We just did that. Did that. It could actually be called sliders because sliders is the show and sliders also the sandwiches. Yep. Mm-hmm. Netflix, hire me. Why are y'all dawdling? I'm naming stuff over here. But thank you so very much, Robert. As always, you are just one of the coolest cats around, and one of the most talented and genuine people around. Seriously,
for sure.
And I appreciate that. All right,
thank you. And y'all are kicking butt with the show, like I said.
Dude,
and thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being on, man. We always appreciate you. Yeah. Michael, do you have any final words for us, sir? Any words of wisdom, sir?
Words of wisdom? Continue to be good to each other.
There you go.
Watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Y'all pretty much know what I got to say. Do the best you can with what you got, because it's all you get. You know what I mean? And just try to do the best you can each day, you know, honestly. If today wasn't a good day, you go, okay, cool. Chalk it up to it being what it is. The next day you get another chance to do it. Think of every day as a quantum leap. Every day is another chance to get things right. That's the only way that you can think about it. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's true.
Yep.
And if I can, and now I really want to watch Quantum Leap. I wish USA was still showing it, but they switched over to SVU, which I'm not mad at all either. So yeah, do the best you can with what you got, because it's all that you get, and don't be a dick and don't be a cunt. That's pretty much it, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Whatever you do, have fun. It's starting to get warmer out there. Still COVID. Still be careful. Still wear a mask. Still wash your damn hands.
Wash your hands.
I saw you come out that bathroom. I ain't hear that air. I ain't hear that faucet going. I know you, nasty ass.
6 feet.
That's 6 feet, definitely. 6 feet.
It's like that's 12 feet for me.
That's it. That's he throwing elbows like
12 feet. No, y'all ain't down here in Georgia. These people know science sometimes. They're like, they say science. Anyways, that's not all of Georgia. Metro Atlanta is good, but the further out you get, it gets.
But it's enough.
It's enough. Yeah. It's 12 feet for me.
So on that note, 12 feet. 12 feet.
12 feet.
Enjoy the day, folks. The weather's getting a little bit nicer. Get some fresh air. Take a walk, and just soak in the D. And no, I'm not going to edit that statement at all. Soak it in.
I was like, I heard what I heard. I was like, let's
you
just
sure
roll.
As hell did. You sure did. You're lucky I'm not wearing a Nightwing shirt, because I'd make references all day about that too, because I don't care. Have a good one, everyone. Peace. Don't forget to watch out for us. If you have not, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that. It's a little gesture to you, but it's a huge thing and helps us out. All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy the day. Peace, y'all.
Peace out.
I'm going to just dance while I hit end.